Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are on this journey. I'm excited to be back with the lovely lady Marcia, my dear friend. We're really excited to just come on, do a tarot chat with you guys, and we have kind of like a fun topic we were looking to dive into today. It's not really one we've had a ton of experience about, but we've heard about it all over the internet, and it's looking at the binary codes and sequence, specifically that 0010110. So we thought we would do a dive to see what messages are coming out and kind of go from there. How are you doing over there, Marcia?
Doing really good, feeling a little bit tired and feeling the energy of rest and recalibration right now. And, it's pretty funny because Bree and I did talk about this, and then we did a video on it yesterday on my channel about how New Year's Eve is not part of the making the resolutions and having that forward momentum is definitely not part of the earth's rhythm, and it's definitely not how I feel right now, because I feel like it's rest and recalibration time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just feeling really kind of cozy, warm and snuggly, and I just want to snuggle in bed all day and watch movies. And
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I love you getting your office together over there. I see it looks really nice. I'm excited to see your murals or your wall tapestry that you put up there. I'm excited for that too. So things are coming along over there. So I'm excited for you, and I agree. It's just been I'm exhausted. I'm a little bit tired. We're missing our one boy, our Gizmo. He went out the other night and he's been, I don't know, he's been gallivanting. So I was up early looking for him. So we're just a little bit tired, and it just feels like, yeah, like a chill, a relax, a recalibration. I,
what
I
happened?
all my are we still going? Because
Still
it's
going?
like everything turned off. One
Yeah.
second. Oh my goodness. I wonder if this is my little other monkey. One second.
We were just
Okay, we are back. Oh my goodness. So my other little turkey, the other little Lyra, our little kitten, decided to hit the power off button on my wall. So whoa, whoa, we got some stuff going on here. So where were we, lovely lady?
we were
We were
talking
talking about
about
being
um
cozy and just like it's
yeah.
that time of just chilling and relaxing. I know we're filming this actually what on New Year's Eve, and it's just, to me, from my perspective, as you were saying, it's just not a big time to be starting something new. I know everybody starts their New Year's resolutions, but we're also in the middle of the winter. It's cold, it's a little ooh, chilly.
It's the dead of winter. It's like the dead of winter, right? And then we were just saying, like, can you imagine having the regular New Year's resolution? I'm going to start going to the gym and I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Like, if I had that, I am not in the space right now to do that.
I hear you. I feel the same right now. So we hope you guys are all doing fabulous. I mean, let us know how you guys are feeling, but we're great. We're just feeling a little tired, a little bit cozy, just wanting to chill. But again, for today, we're excited to dive into the binary code, specifically looking at that 00110, because a lot of the internet sensations are talking about this being a code that can exit the matrix. So we wanted to see, is there any truth to that? What can we get right? All that fun stuff. I will say, I think, Marcia, you shared like a bit of a cool story too when you were looking into some. I think you came across this. You were asking me about it recently, and that's how we came upon this topic. But
Yeah.
yeah, you had that experience where your pain in your neck was going away while you were reciting that as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I was in bed and I was going through reels, and then I see this guy who's just repeating this number, the same number, 0010110, and he just kept repeating it. I'm like, what is he doing? And what the hell is this? And so I'm just like looking at him, and I don't know, I just kind of like left it on, and he was repeating it for quite a while. And then I started repeating it in my head, and I have a lot of pain in the back of my neck, and there's like a big thing around that. in your medulla oblongata, that's when you get kind of like your connection to your higher self and your higher source. That's when all of the connecting, if you can see it, like it's like a connection, it's like a plug, right? And so if you're not clearing it out a lot, it can get kind of cluttered. So spending some time Om chanting into the medulla, the Om chant would be, what is it, Bree? Is it Om? I think that, yeah, it's Om, the chant for the Anya.
Yeah.
So Om chanting into it. But then when I was repeating, I was having like a lot of pain that day, and the pain kind of suddenly just kind of dissipated and went away. It was very obvious. I was very conscious of it. So it kind of made me kind of double look at that. I thought I turned the notifications off on my child's messenger kids. I'm so sorry about that.
I didn't
Um,
hear anything on this end, so
oh,
you're good.
good,
Yeah.
good. So yeah, I that kind of made me take a double look at it. And then went into more of it. And I saw another reel about the guy that was actually saying it. He says he's a Palladian starseed and that he knows this and he has memories of it. You know how we go through the veil of forgetfulness.
Yeah.
He seems to have blasted through it. I don't know if it's because of the binary code that he says, but then I also saw another reel, and this one's really interesting. It happened a long, long time ago, like years ago, years and years ago, like I want to say like 1930 or something like that. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Randall Forest one.
For some reason, I feel like I'm going into 1980, but I mean, I could be wrong too. If you guys can correct us, let us know if we're wrong. But yeah, that was an interesting story.
Yeah, so what happened was the binary code, he saw a UFO, Randall Forest, Google it, try to look it up. And he actually, in the story, he touched the UFO. And when he touched it, he got a whole bunch of downloads, and this binary code came in, the 00101110. Right. So there's a lot going on in this. And I called Bree because she's like so into numbers and she sees numbers all the time and she's very connected to numerology. So I'm like, what do you think of this? Right. And so why not pull tarot on it and see what spirit wants to tell us? Like, what is this? What do you think about this? Is this a real thing? Is this an exit out of the matrix? Like, what do you think?
I love that for sure. And I just pulled up Randlesham Forest incident, and it shows this. It was a famous series of alleged UFO sightings. It says on here in England in late December of 1980, referred to as Britain's Roswell. So it's a pretty big, I think, a pretty big story. Again, I haven't significantly dug into it, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting clip that you shared with me. And when I was looking at this again, I pulled the tarot. I did a Celtic cross spread as well, and it's really interesting because I got the bee that flew out of my oracles as well. So that's a pretty big synchronicity with the bee and the honeycomb. As you said, it's like the Matrix, right? So, I mean, this is quite interesting. Did you already pull cards on this, or
I'm gonna
did
see
you?
what you got first.
All right, so diving into this, like what I got intuitively when I was looking at this without the cards is not necessarily to me was it some wealth code or matrix code. Well, in some levels, yes, but I got it more as like a sense of removing distortion. So when we look at the distorted veils or the clouded energy that is upon us that like disconnects us from that, let's say our true higher self or the sovereignty, this code could help with clearing out that distortion, that smoke, that fog. And I mean, not to jump over to the outcome, but it's so interesting that my Ace of Swords is the outcome, and we have that fog around the sword, which is a really cool synchronicity. But what I have with starting off here. Okay, so I do have a little bit of a larger spread here because I've held the Celtic cross, but the code itself actually came out as the Ace of Cups, and this is showing a new emotional frequency. So it feels like it's almost like your soul is being like rehydrated with that number, right, with the water. And when we look at the challenge with this, I have the Five of Swords, and this is like that ego. It is also the wars. So when I see this, I got a big energy of like mental conflict and like ego. So it's distorted narratives that have been upon us. And that makes sense when we look at the bee too, because when we look at the synchronicities of the bee, and not just the honey and the honeycomb, but it's like the bees don't have this egoic sense, right? They build, they create, and they make something very, like, it's like this alchemical transformation with the pollen and the honey. But again, moving forward with that, so it's like an emotional frequency with the code. When it comes to the challenge, that's the mental ego, the conflict. It's running, what I get as well, the false codes from the mind, and you win by withdrawing from the war. So this is a big like war card for me as well, right? You know, instead of feeding into that matrix or feeding into the wars, you detach, you observe them. When I look at the placement of what do we need to focus on, we have the emperor, and also kind of interesting, we have that ankh there as well. We've been talking so much about Egypt now,
Ah,
it's coming up, right? But what's really neat too is like when we look at, I believe, this code, I think it has a master builder number, the 22.
it
And
does.
the
Yeah.
emperor is about structure and stability. So it feels like a self command. So to that 22 number, since it's a builder number, it needs to command, it needs to demand form. And with that being in our aspect of what we need to pay attention to, it's like our nervous system wants us to move forward with commands and leadership as well. What's leaving us, the past, we have the Nine of Swords. This is the mental loop. So I do think that I love that this code specifically can really help with the reoccurring mental loops. It's like the old program is shutting down when you really use this code properly. And then when we look at also the next placement, our strengths, this is interesting because it's like, how is the Three of Swords our strength, right? Because this is heartbreak. But again, the biggest thing, you guys, is I see this as a sense of not bypassing pain, but through our pain is actually, through our heartbreak is where our strength is, or where our truth and our integrity. So I think that's a beautiful actual card that came out for that. It's not one you would think of like, how is, you know, heartbreak our strength? But it truly is, because without that, we wouldn't have these experiences that we have, right? So I think that's really key. Now, moving forward to the near future. So looking at this code as well, I do think this is a pause, this is a recalibration. So this binary phase can process, compile, and it executes with the Ace of Swords as the outcome. So I'll just share a couple more cards as well that I have here, because when I look at the advice, this is beautiful. The Empress, and this is returning to the body, returning to nature. This is creativity. And what I get, you guys, is with this code, if you guys want to utilize it and work with it, you can't anchor this code by living in the mind. It's about creation, it's about building the structure within creation as well. So I love that. And then we look at the external environment. So using this code, this is surrounded by a departured energy, and this can absolutely like dissolve. The Ace of Cups, where a new frequency is dissolving the old timeline. So I love that energy. And to conclude with this here, we also have the Four of Pentacles, and the outcome being the Ace of Swords, which is beautiful, because I think this is the Four of Pentacles in terms of like our hopes and fears. A lot of, I feel like people, it's like that hopes of fear versus loss, or like letting go, right? But you can't kind of like try not to kink the upgrade or kink the hose when you're working with this code, because it's not all mental, it's about feeling into it, and then that truth and clarity really comes out here. So I have a lot of really good energy to support that this code can assist with, I don't want to say exiting the matrix, but I feel like what it does is it like releases and it dissolves, and it leaves the old codes behind, so the new can form with a higher self, like a higher frequency with the bee, because the bee is that high frequency hum as well. It's an elevated energy. What do you have over there?
You said you said so much. I'm just trying to remember it all. So the bee, is unity too, right? Like the bee works together to build things. The code is the master builder, the 22. Does that mean with the bee coming up, we are going to dissolve the all the mental constructs, all the stuff that is fogging our divine self, working together to building a new structure. Because what came through as I was working on the code now, just kind of like, I think it was when I was talking to you too, and you said something about working with the code, because I was just like repeating it and just kind of feeling the energy. Like it totally resonates, Bree. I just feel the energy leaving and this like centering and this calm. So like say the code and feel into your subtle energies and see and comment and let us know how you feel when you repeat the code in your mind and feeling into the subtle energies and seeing what that does. I feel like it puts you into the place of 0 point with the
Yes.
onk coming up. And then like after that, I was like, just what do I want to bring in? And then I said like little key words, right? Words have a lot of power, but also what does have a lot of power is symbols. So I know that on March 1st, I always make a vision board, right? And that is the New Year's for me. Like just with my perspective, I don't do a lot of like intentions in January 1st. I wait until like the spring equinox
Yeah.
around there. And I make the vision board. So right now, without the vision board, I would say connection, community, abundance, peace, love, time, right? So I would say the code and then do that. And like right now, I'm feeling that recharge and that recalibration. So is the code working? I don't know. It's up to you. It's your perspective because I think it is. Like I'm recharge, recalibration, right? Like
Yeah, and I love that because I've been like talking a lot. I don't know for me personally, I've just been getting a lot about like our nervous system, working with our nervous
yes.
system, right? And it's like I do think with this code, like you're talking about, it can rebuild, especially with the Seven of Pentacles. It can rebuild, or I guess like not rebuild, but like retrain the nervous system to build and not to suffer. Because in the past we're suffering, but guess what? In the future we're rebuilding with clarity. And I love that you were talking about coming together with, individuals, with communities, because it's about rebuilding together with a collective consciousness. So I really agree with that. I love it.
Yeah, and then you just said something else. It's that like we're so used to feeling the anxiety. We're so used to going and pushing forward, right? So I feel like just working with the code myself for the past little while is really helping because like right now, I'm really good at pushing forward. I'm really good at doing that. Was one of my barriers is to stop and to relearn how to not do and to flow, right? And so now I can't, like, I don't feel like I want to even try to push, right? I feel like I do want to lay on the couch and snuggle my hubby and be with my children. And I think that's like very much a big success for me because usually like those mental constructs, which is what the code takes away, tells me I'm being lazy, right?
Yes,
When I
you,
do
yeah.
that.
I'm getting
Yeah.
goosebumps. Yes, that is a big thing, and that's literally what I have with the challenge is the mental constructs. I love
Mhm.
that you brought that up because that's a big yes. Like we keep fighting ourselves, right? Because this is the way we think it has to be, when in truth, it's like no, we are just identifying or assuming a reality of pain and suffering. And through that pain and suffering, like if we actually just take a moment to look at what's happening, because again, everything helps with like starts with that felt sensation, right? And then it tries to attach itself to an old story, most likely from childhood, because we're just little
Yeah.
sponges at that point, right?
Yeah.
And it's just about rewiring what these meanings actually mean. So if we see all of these challenges as like, oh wow, this is literally an exciting opportunity to move through this, and to have more awareness about who we are, then that's a win, right? So I love that.
Such a win because these programs were like indoctrinated into us, sometimes very kind of like firmly and like by force. Right. And so when we actually see that and work with the energy of the Three of Swords and are able to be an observer and to release it, we come into a place of such expansion, bigger, like the harder the situation, the more the expansion is. So, absolutely, the Three of Swords is a message that's been coming through so much. Through the darkness, the deeper the darkness, the bigger the light, right? So many lessons in the I don't want to say darkness because darkness is also another thing that we can kind of switch thinking about. There's nothing wrong with darkness. It's the void. It's the 0 point, right? Like a
That's
lot of people.
exactly. That's where all like limited possibilities can be
Mhm.
birthed from. So, yeah, I look at that exact same card again, Seven of Pentacles. So that's so cool. Um, wow. Did you pull tarot on the
I
card as
did.
well? What did you get over there?
I did. I got the Four of Cups and the Judgment in the past. So I was just saying, what was my question? My question was like, can you tell me more of this binary code? What is it? Just give me more information. And I just let spirit guide. So the Four of Cups and the Judgment, it's a place where we can see and discern. It's like a code to help us in discerning what is no longer in us. Because when I say the code, what is no longer for our highest good? Because when I say the code, I can literally feel the fog lifting. So it helps us to get into the judgment and to do away energetically, which leads to more of the conscious kind of like release of different things in our past to help us do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's almost like the mind can't hold that old paradox. And it's interesting because I also was just pulling a couple cards and my judgment is also coming out. And we've been getting like the exact same cards recently too. That's really like such a cool like synchronicity when you're like, yeah, you're doing tarot with somebody and you get the same cards.
I love it when that happens. And it's not even just happening, it's like happening within our tarot group, right? Like the temperance kept coming out like so much over 2 days. So what's the temperance? The temperance is balancing, it's alchemizing, it's that alchemizing of like the water and the fire, which also talks about the Three of Swords, the alchemizing of the dark to the light,
Mhm.
not staying in the conflict, but using it to blast off into the light. See? Like so much synchronicity. Like the veil is thinning, you guys. It is ridiculous. If you can see Bree's orbs and fairies flying in the background, the veil is thinning. Like she's got so many. And I think this code is absolutely helping us kind of like ascend into the higher timelines because I do believe that there is like two timelines still and it's going to be cemented, right? And there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. I believe that, like, if you're going to go on the lower timeline, you're going to have to be like a pedo or like a murderer or somebody like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's
I mean, okay, not to sorry, not to cut you off there, but
no, no,
actually
no.
when
Go
when
ahead.
I was looking into this too, like, because there's so many people like, oh my gosh, am I gonna make it to this new, you know what I mean? They get kind of caught up like they have to be this perfect person, and that's not. You just have to be open and able to be curious, to be able to change, to be adaptable, right? So even when we look at the past, like, you know. Oh, how I don't know if I'm squirreling into a different direction, but when you look at the changes and how we evolve as a collective and a humanity as well, if you look at even going back to, let's say, using like DVDs, right? We had DVDs, we had Blu-rays, we had all these things, and then now we have internet, we have Netflix, we have things that are streaming. It's not like all of a sudden just you woke up one morning and DVDs didn't exist. It was a transition, right? It's like faded out. So with that, you have groups of people, what do? They adapt, they change, they get familiar with the new ways. So that's all you have to be open to doing, right? Is from my perspective. But sorry, what else were you thinking
Absolutely.
about that?
And don't play into the fear, right? Like, we're not, in also my perspective, we're not here to be perfect. Like, why would we come on like the hardest planet? Of the biggest lessons. It's being described as the university of the galaxy. Why would we come here to be perfect? We came here to stumble. We came here to fall. We came here to learn. We came here to experience. So to have that whole perfectionism and to kind of be so judgmental about yourself and not go into the place where you're able to look, because you're so being so hard on yourself, it stops you and it dampens your vibration, and that's what traps you. So instead of looking at it like I have to be perfect in order to go, we are totally skipping onto something completely different. But like, if instead of looking at it like I have to be this way, this way, this way to go on to the higher timeline, no, look at it with like the curiosity of a child. Like, what is it like every night? What is it? How was my day? How was my day? Where could I have improved? Right? What should I have done differently if I could have done that time over again, but without any shame, without any guilt, and just say sorry if you messed up. We're not perfect, right? You know?
I love that. Yeah.
So I got the three of wands. So the binary code, back to the binary code. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when me and Bree talk. We go off on little tangents.
I love it.
But I think it's necessary, right? Because it's like being led by spirit onto these different like topics.
And you
Oh,
often find that they all connect. I don't know
all
how many
connect.
times we've scrolled off and we're like, oh my gosh, look at that, right? So, yes, back to the binary code.
Back to the
Three of
binary code.
Wands.
0010110. So it's a port. It's like the code is a portal, but it blasts us off into like the first step after the portal, right? Like, so that's what the three of wands says to me. And it's coming in with a lot of energy. And it's funny because Jerry pulled this the other day and he's like, that's the sun. That's the energy of the sun, right? So the codes that's coming in, it's working with the codes to help us discern and to see what we don't want and what we do want. With Bree's Ace of Swords, with the fog around the Ace of Swords, it's like kind of like bringing the fog down, but on a conscious level so that we can have our choice, our freedom of choice. The King of Pentacles and the Temperance again. Oh my God. The optimization. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of what we do want, what we don't want, the light, the dark, the lessons, the expansion, right? It's all of it. It's we're here to experience all of it without judgment of self. And then the King of Pentacles into a grounded place of abundance. So, yeah, I guess the King of Pentacles is definitely saying, like, don't forget to use this code going into the 0 point to place in your own codes of what you do want to bring in, right?
Yes.
And if you're just in a place right now of working with words, words can trigger memory, memory can trigger emotions. It's also very powerful. That's why words are spells. So even if you just kind of say the code and say different words, that will trigger the memory and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Do that, right? And like symbols, definitely like for the spring solstice, I highly recommend to do a vision board 100%. Because in the past 3 years, not everything on my vision board, like winning the lottery or anything like that, came true. But if you look and discern, it did come true,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
I know. I have my vision board that I did actually quite a while ago. I'm gonna do a new one this upcoming March as well. And a lot of them, they came true.
Yes. Yes.
So it was quite incredible to go, holy crow. And I mean, I remember doing this like back in the day before I even really realized much about, the journey, just like when I was younger, about things that I really, wanted in that state. And it was kind of interesting to fast forward and go back and like, oh my goodness, I pretty much achieved all those things that I wanted on my boards, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. But I'm
It
gonna do it in
really,
March.
we should do it together.
Yes, let's
Yeah.
do that. That'll
We'll
be fun.
start gathering. Like what I do is I go online and I look for pictures and then I'll print out the pictures because Back in the day, we'd used to go and like beg people for magazines and stuff like
Yes,
that.
remember that? Oh my goodness. And we would kind of, I started doing scrapbooking too, and I made some really cool cards and stuff. It's been so much fun. I didn't realize how much time it really took and invested. I like sat down and was like 4 hours later, and I got this like one little card done. But it was so much fun. I loved
I
it.
want to see the card. If you have it in your office, you should show
They're
us.
downstairs, but I'll have to I'll bring it up next time. I'll show you. It's really
Okay.
amazing. I loved
And
it.
if you really think about it, like it's also like time is an illusion, right? And if you're in there, you're in your space and you're it's kind of like knitting for me. And that's when I tap into my higher self, is when I do little things like that. It's like
Yeah.
lashing. So if you're doing a scrapbook and 4 hours pass, how much magic and how much like energy are you imbuing into that symbol? It's amazing. It's exactly the way it's supposed to be. So
Yeah.
that card, Bree, has so much like intention placed in it.
Here is one. I took a picture of it. I don't know if you can really see it that well, but there was one that I did
Oh
there.
my
And
God.
it's just like fun and magical. So
Did you
it took,
make that?
yes. It
That's
was so much fun. I'll have to make one for you. So that was just one of them that I made there. Actually, Paris made one too. She made a beautiful one. So it's quite time consuming, and that was just like one small little card, but I actually bought like a bigger book and I started scrapbooking. So we're totally getting off topic now, but but yeah, no, it's just fun because it's magical. You're in the moment, you're creating. So it's just, you guys like follow what it is that you enjoy doing, what like lights your fire. I think that's really important. So many people get like caught up in the whole 9 to 5 and trying to juggle responsibilities. It's like sometimes you just have to do what you feel very like guided to do, right?
I don't feel like we're jumping off at all. We're talking about the binary code, being in the 0 point and how to create what we want to create. And how do we do that? We can do that through words, or we can do that through symbols, through
Yeah.
things like vision boarding, through things like scrapbooking, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think this code is amazing. I'm getting very, very good cards. I also have the Page of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. I'm knocked off the connection. Um, so the Six of Pentacles for me is like putting in this hard work in the Page of Cups. So this is moving away from the 9 to 5, all the structures placed upon us to draw us away from our divine nature. And the Page of Cups is asking us to go back into like the way of the innocence, the way of the child, the way of like looking at our emotions before we were before we were told to be quiet, right? Like go even further back, right? Like into the place where if you look at a baby, they feel their emotions so much. I don't know why this is coming through so much, right? But the page is child, the page is children, the page is innocence, and the cups is emotion. So I feel like that's calling us to go back into that kind of vibration. And the Nine of Cups and the Two of Wands. It's a portal,
That's
the
the portal card. Yes.
portal into the Nine of Cups. So from the Page of Cups to the Nine of Cups, it's a transition.
Yeah.
Transition using the youth energy, using the childlike energy of wonder
Mhm.
into a more stable energy of the Nine of Cups.
Yes, and that's a wish fulfillment, and that's beautiful. It totally, when you're talking about that, brings back just memories of being like, you guys remember being just a child and like building forts and going. I remember like we had this, we lived kind of in the city, and across the street there was this one property that wasn't developed, and we made a full-on tree fort in there, and it was just like so much fun. And it just totally brings back that magic of being a child, right? So I love that.
And like going was my voice, and going into the forest and trying to see fairies and trying to see
Oh,
gnomes, and do that, because who knows, the veils are thinning, like fog your eyes out, kind of blur your eyes out, and just go and just feel wonder, you know
exactly. I love that. And you know what? It's so interesting that you keep saying like the veils are thinning. And when we look at this, I've had a really interesting, I don't think I've really told too many people this, but a really interesting experience. I had this happen once before when I was at when my daughter was getting her braces put on, I was at the dentist, and they have this wall that's like a fish wall, right? And I'm sitting there just looking across the room, and I kid you not, you guys, the wall was freaking glitching. It wasn't solid, and I'm just like why? Like, am I like okay? Am I seeing stuff right now? And it was the most bizarre thing. And I would even blink. So, like, sometimes, when you like keep your stillness, you can see things shift, your reality shift. But I was seeing this wall. It was like moving. It wasn't solid. It wasn't a solid structure. And the reason why I'm bringing this up also is because we're talking about like the glitch, the matrix. And yesterday I was, playing. Was on the floor looking at our little Lyra kitty, our cosmic kitten, and she had put this mat down on her food, and I'm looking at this mat and it's freaking glitching, and I'm just like, they brought back the whole situation that I seen with at the dentist with the glitching of the walls, and I'm like, what in the world is happening? So I feel like it is. I'm gonna
The
put one or
matrix
two
is
cards.
falling, right? And so we were talking before using this code, and tell them about the reel you saw and seeing like the green lettering with the code. I can't tell the story because I didn't see the reel. Remember?
Sorry, which one? The one with the lasers? Is that what
Yeah,
you're talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, I keep meaning to bring that up, and then I keep getting sidetracked. But I seen some clips. This was a little while ago as well, but where I think the individuals might have taken some like DMT or something, but they were able to use lasers on the wall and hone into them, and they could actually see numbers. I can't recall 100% if it was the 01000 number, but they were able to see actual codes with inside the laser, and I thought that was really interesting as well. So I mean, I haven't pulled on that one on for a while. I remember seeing that a while ago, because what I was doing too in the past is I was actually taking that number, and I have tons of crystals to do crystal grids, and I was making that number, the 0010110, out of my crystals, and I put it up by my bed and did some work with that. So that's another symbolism of, you guys can use that. But quite interesting that people were able to see it through the lasers, like actual numbers within the lasers. Hey,
So what is the matrix? If the matrix is, correct me if I'm wrong, Bree, but this is my understanding of it. It's like the systems, the web trying to keep us away from our intuition, keep us trapped into this reality so that we cannot see beyond this reality. So I pulled cards asking, what is the matrix? Like, can you tell me about the matrix? Is the matrix falling? So
I feel like the Matrix is more like a framework. And it's interesting because I have double tens here, like 10 of swords, 10 of wands, but guess what comes after? Illumination. And there's those rays, like with the actual laser as well. So I feel like it's more of like this construct. And the thing is, like, when we withdraw from this construct as well, it brings us into more of a neutral state, like you said, that 0 point field. And from that place, we can then override, we can assume, we can work with reality that way. So is the matrix falling? I think that when we choose to work with certain energies, I don't know if energies would be the right word, but when we work with, like, for example, that code, right? It does help remove distortions. What can you share, Spirit, when it comes to the question, like looking, like what are you thinking? Like
So, do
looking.
you think, like, this is a great conversation. Do you think that the matrix is put on us, or do you think it's a natural construct, something that should be here, or do you think it was nefariously put on us? What do you think about that?
Ooh, I feel like I do want to pull cards on that, but okay. I think it's a bit of the thing is, I think there is that construct there, right? When we come in, like Three of Pentacles, there is that construct there, but I think there has been some things that have been altered when we look at the nefarious activity that has happened for centuries. Ten of Pentacles, like a long, long time.
On time.
So on some level, I think that there is this core construct, but this core construct was there, and it has been manipulated or tweaked.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
within that state, it's kind of trying to withdraw us from our sovereignty. But the thing is, like, we're the ones powering those constructs as well. So we have the ability to release them, to surrender them. This is the card of sovereignty. And I have the Ace of Swords here. So I'm just going to pull on a couple cards on that. But like, is the true energy, like, let's say, what can you share, Spirit, with that perspective? Like, are we seeing that correctly with the whole matrix and, let's say, certain nefarious activities? What can you share?
So I find it interesting that you're getting a lot of tens,
Yeah.
right? And so the tens are completion. And then after the completion, you're getting the illumination. So it's like the completion of even if it's like, the completion of the matrix of the nefarious, but then also the completion of not being able to use it in the right way. So we have the nine of pentacles. So the nine is like the abundance. It's like, for me, it's the card of the chameleon, right? So wow,
We
Bree.
had the same
Wow.
card too. The
Yeah,
sovereignty.
that's insane. And then it also talks, like, if you look at the nine vibration, it talks and it hits what you just said. It is our choice to use it whichever way. The chameleon takes the vibrations, each and every single number, and it will take out each whatever vibration of whatever number. So it's the number of creation, it's the number of change, it's the number of your creation, of making it whatever you want. The nine of pentacles, making the earth whatever you want, making your bubble, making your world whatever you want, right? Wow, see the synchronicities.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Absolutely, I love that. And it's interesting because I pulled a few cards when we're asking about like the matrix itself, and I'm like, okay, like I don't have the devil or anything like that coming out. It does look like this is placed here for us to work with, to experience. But interesting enough, I did have the Seven of Swords that fell out, and that was kind of a confirmation for me. Whereas, like, I do think things have been manipulated within the construct, and within that state, there's a lot of stuff happening. Here's that Eight of Wands. I think you got that before as
Yeah, I
well.
did. Yeah.
So this, when we look at the current where we're at right now as a collective in humanity, judgment, back of the deck yet again with that Four of Cups, there is an evaluation and a wake up call with
I
the
got the vortex too.
distortion, right? It's with that distortion, and our true remembrance is really coming
Oh my God.
online with that. It's my or my Six of Cups is remembrance, and it's our star families. It's also like the going back to our true essence and our sovereign state. So I mean, yes, we have this construct from my perspective in matrix that we would have here regardless of the nefarious, but I do think it has been manipulated. But that has been like really been a big thing that has been worked on, I feel like, lately, and there's the big judgment call with that. So
Mhm.
that's why we could see such a change in collective craziness happening as well for these, even this last decade, right? So
We can also see all the fairies and all the orbs and all the glitches in the matrix. That's the reason why all this stuff is happening, right? The breakdown and then like the ability to see through it. So it's like an absolutely beautiful time. So my next one, when I asked about the matrix, is I got the King of Wands. So that to me is like them um making it what they want to make it. What did you get it to?
I got the King of Wands, like in my one, the one card I didn't say, and then you're like, I got the King of Wands. I'm like, I have it too. That's so funny.
And
Um,
then I got the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is asking you to go in within and to search within and to see what it comes through you, through your flow, through your calm and centered state, right? Like reminding you that you have the power to pick and work with it whichever way you want to work with it. I love that kind of perspective on the matrix. It's like seeing beyond the chaos, right? Seeing beyond the manipulation. Go ahead. I know you want to say
yeah, yeah.
something.
I mean, it's like, okay, it's not that we live in this matrix, it's about seeing through it,
Yeah.
is what I'm hearing. It's like a prediction system, right? So if we just assume it's going to be this way, then that's the way it's going to be. So let's change the way we assume it
Yeah.
to be. right?
Yeah. And that's what the high priestess is telling us to do. We have the power to do that, right? And that is also what the Nine of Pentacles is telling us to do. We can pick whichever quality and whichever number in numerology to put it with the nine, and the nine will intensify and activate it. And the Ace of Swords again, right? It's
Wow.
that defogging of everything. It's your defogging of your belief systems, limiting belief systems, the defogging of the structure, the falling of the structure to what? To place us into a new path.
Oh, wow. Look at that. The Fool into a
That's
new
crazy,
path. Oh,
right?
wow. Yeah. So it's almost like looking at that binary code too. It's almost like a time like a timeline, you know what I mean? Like there's all these probabilities and we can use that energy, that code, to move through a new, like you said with the Fool, jump into a new resonance with that. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great cards. Great
Wow.
cards. So I'm not getting anything kind of like set up for us for this code. We live in a world where we have to know and discern and kind of like search within with everything to see how it hits your soul, right? So yeah, that's why I called Bria. I was like, I don't know about this code. This like I don't know what I stumbled across. So yeah, we got some really good cards. I don't have any. I think the code's good.
Yeah, I think you could absolutely utilize it. I mean, I think some people will, utilize it for like a wealth code or this code, but I think you have the opportunity to use it how you want to program it as well.
Yeah.
So, let's just, I guess, we could always pull a few cards on like what can you share, Spirit, with like the best way to utilize this code. What can you share with utilizing this code for the best and highest good? Ace of Pentacles, Remembrance. Oh, wow. Look at this. In the back of the deck, too, is like the Two of Wands, which is also looking at that portal. And the Ace of Cups again with the Temperance. That Temperance wants to keep coming out as well.
The
So
temperance.
I think a lot of people, too, I mean, there are a lot of individuals that are looking at, okay, how can I use it for money related situations, right? Monetary gains as well. But it's almost like this living frequency that you can use to remember your true states and shift your awareness that way. So we could even look at it like starting, I mean, from my perspective, how I feel like I'm just seeing in my head is just like getting into a calm state, again, doing that breath work, heart rate variability. I love the 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Sometimes I like to hold for a moment at the top and just releasing tensions, but it's like almost having that code like within the chakra systems as you're repeating it and moving it upwards as well is how I'm just energetically seeing it. But yeah, I have again yet really good cards in terms of like how you can work with it, how you can use it, and I feel like you can use it in a whole slew of different ways. Like you guys have the ability to work and program it with how you would like or how you would prefer, right?
I love that. We are the creators of our world, right? And we're given all these different things to help us right now. And it's our choice whether or not we want to use it.
Yeah.
So, how do we use this code? And I have a lot of like, oh, the 10 of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles.
Oh, we got this.
It,
That's
I
awesome.
know you got the Ace of Pentacles too, right?
Yes.
So that's like for me, that would be focusing on what you want, focusing on what you want to bring in, focusing on is it love and family? Is it calm and peace and joy? Is it just centeredness? Wow. And then is it like the materialistic stuff? And there's nothing wrong with being materialistic. I mean, like when you're in a good place, when you can take care of your family, that will also help you come back into the calm center state. But I also invite you guys to, after you do that, to look and to kind of reevaluate what your idea of abundance is, to get ready for the spring solstice, right? To get ready for the actual new year, to get ready for making that vision board, to get ready for bringing things in that you want, to go beyond the structures of this world. I want to win the lottery. I want to do this. Yes, I want calm, joy, and peace and time. because that is what's going to happen. That's the basic building blocks. So go back to the building blocks, right? And that's what the Three of Pentacles says to me too.
Oh, I love that. And you know what I think too is like when we're in that state of working with, meditation or assumption too, after that too, we have to, I think, take that actionary step because I love affirmations. I love all that stuff, but at the same time, like you can sit there and say your affirmations all day if you're not going to take actionable steps as well. It's important, like it's like working together with the whole system. So it's like after going through your meditation with that binary code, if you guys choose to work with it, it's like making sure afterwards that you do one physical step in this realm. Maybe that is sending an email, or maybe you're getting your vision board ready and actually like getting pictures together or printing things out. You're showing the universe, the reality that you are moving, you are that thing already, right? You're not in a state of lack, because again, like they say, you need to become what you already are wanting to manifest. You can't just keep thinking or hoping or wishing, because that's not the way it's going to work, right? You have to literally become the identity of that. So that's been an interesting point. So make sure you guys do a small action to prove you are part of that already.
I'm so glad you said that because there's a lot in this light and love community where it's kind of like, and that's like the Nasara Dasara. And that's like that whole thinking of somebody's going to come in and save us.
Yeah.
That's not why we came here. We came here to do this, right? To experience it, to learn from it, right? So it's like, yes, we're going to use our magic. Yes, we're going to use our powers of manifestation, but we are bringing heaven to earth. So there has to be, that's the heaven, right? There has to be some earth movement as well. And I love that Bree said that because that's like such a balance, you know? I love that. Mhm.
Yay. I love that. I love that. All right. Well, let's pull. I'm gonna pull an oracle before we end, I guess.
All right. Are you going to have like a message from Mother Earth? I have. So I use
I
my
sure we can do that. I know you love that.
I moved my office upstairs. So I have two sections. I have a section downstairs where it's like super noisy where I've been taping, but I have two decks of cards. So I have oracles and stuff up here and oracles and stuff downstairs. So I have a different Mother Earth deck.
I love it. I know I have to do a bit of a reorganizing in my office. It's a bit of
I
a
love your office. I love your
thank
office.
you.
It is not cluttered at all. It's very echoey in here because I don't have pictures up on the walls yet. I love our tarot talks, Bree.
I love them. They're so much fun. Oh my goodness, girl. Okay. Um, I have so many cool cards here. I love this deck too. So the one main card I got was Keepers of the Earth. It says, "You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you." So that's a beautiful card as well. And what's interesting is on the back is the mirror. And the mirror is like, what is triggering you? There's that Three of Swords we got, and that's in our strengths because that trigger, that mirror is going to show us an illuminated state, right? And in speaking of an illuminated state, I literally have another sign again. Be patient, it will come. And it talks about manifestation and power. And the 1111 portal. How cool is that? So
Mhm.
it's interesting. Oh, I feel like there's something else that was coming from that. Oh, be patient, because be patient is also that temperance card, right? It is the card of unity. It's beautiful, the alchemy and the balancing, but it's a card of being patient as well. And it's persistence. We have bravery. The other card that I have is the Forbidden Forest. So it talks about bravery and persistence. This is you are so brave. Keep on doing the way you do. And it just brings me to like how you were saying earlier with the forest, like going out, anchoring with the forest, having fun, having a magical experience. I have to say, you guys, like I have, not to get on a side note again, but I started like before I was taking little like gifts, like little crystals, and giving it to the trees. So I would like bury it. And that is where I've told this story to some people, that is where I had this little crystal ball end up on my chair. Do you remember me telling you
Funny.
that story?
Yes,
So I
yes,
kept it.
of course.
Yes, and I originally I'm like, oh no, it's like my mind is like, no, I mean that must have just come from something else, or maybe it's a bracelet because I was doing bracelets, but I'm like, there's no hole in the bead, and I went to compare it to my other beads, and I'm like, it's not a bead. I don't know where it came from, but it's a little mini crystal ball that was nicely placed on my seat of my office chair, and that was going back quite a few months ago. I believe in the summer that happened, but I just get so much with that forest, like the magical forest.
So what I'm getting right now, Bree, when you told me that story, like way back when, I'm like, look in the crystal ball. Can you see
Oh
anything in the
yeah.
crystal ball? And you're like, it's so tiny. I'm like, and now what's coming in, because I remember that conversation, is that that is a fairy's crystal ball. And that is how she did what you do with your crystal ball. Oh, I love that. That is beautiful. And you know what? Like nature responds. You know, I feed the crows, I feed the blue jays. They left me a present. It was I was on Zoom with my friends and I was like, they left me a present. It was just a wire,
Yeah.
like a paper clip that unraveled. But then I showed it to them and they're like, it's in the shape of an infinity sign. So
What, girl? You're that's crazy. Oh my goodness.
So I kept it and it's in like my special spot where I keep all
Oh,
like the my special rocks and my special crystals and my
oh,
feathers and stuff.
that's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And you know what? With the infinity, you know what I'm hearing too? Because I was just pulling a couple cards on this little mini crystal ball, but it's an exchange. It's an
Yes.
exchange, right? You
Yes.
have been giving them your love and feeding them, and they are thanking you. So again, it just goes to show how interesting like when you work with reality and have fun with it. Again, I'll just share one more quick thing too. Like when during this time this happened, I always had fun like with just like, okay, I'm gonna find like a crazy, as I'm going about my day, I'm gonna find like a purple car with stripes or something silly like that, right? And
Oh,
it
yeah.
happens every time. You just, you know, you're gonna find it, you allow it, and then you surrender. So
Mhm.
little things like that. And I remember after this I got so excited too. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this again, but I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna just find a chocolate because I don't know why I was thinking of chocolate. And I'm not even joking. This was in the summer, a Christmas chocolate placed on the couch afterwards. And I'm like, what in the world? Little things like that is like, you guys have fun with the universe and the so called matrix because it does respond to you. It does.
And she's going back into what we are intended to be is like instant manifestors, right? So it's like
Mhm.
you think of something and then it appears.
Yeah.
So that, and how can we do that is that belief. And what blocks it is that disbelief, right? So
Exactly, exactly. Oh my gosh, you just like, yeah, absolute goosebumps. I mean, sometimes we think like, oh, how is this gonna work? Because our mind wants to try to explain it all, but you can't explain that unexplainable. So when you have your full belief centered around, and I don't mean like faith, like in a religious standpoint, but like full belief that this is my reality, this is the way it is, then it has no choice than to respond as that is your reality. So it's kind of interesting. I feel like we should do a
this one.
part two on digging into like manifestation and stuff. I think that
That's coming up a lot is
yeah.
like all these kind of because there's a whole bunch of building blocks, right? There's that aligning with what you want, believing with what you want, using symbols, but then also after you're doing your magic to surrender and then to forget about it and to let it go and to let it be. A lot of different things. We could talk about it forever. But one
Yes.
thing I did want to say about like the belief is this is a total example of it, right? Like the marrying the 3D with the 5D with like using your belief instead of having to explain it, going into the right brain instead of the left brain. So growing up, I was always very empathic. I was always like very intuitive around people. And some people say like it is developed through trauma, through like a traumatic childhood. Yes, maybe, yeah, maybe that honed it in, but there is always a building block of it, right? So as I was growing up, I would always be like one thing, knowing when somebody is upset. And then I would ask them a question like, are you okay? Right. And then get blasted in the face because like they don't really feel like they want, like it's uncomfortable for people to know that you can see through them.
Yeah.
But then when you get like some sort of intuitive kind of hit, like say you meet somebody and they're not really fitting in with like your highest good and you have kind of all the heebie-jeebies and you try to explain it to somebody else, like I'm getting a lot of heebie-jeebies, and they ask you why. So that is like from the left brain to the right brain, right? The right brain is giving you these heebie-jeebies, and then somebody is asking you to explain the right brain. It's fucking impossible.
Yes. Well,
You can't explain it.
exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Just like red, like if like, oh, okay, can you see the color red? Yes. But if you try to say, okay, well, tell me what red looks like, and I mean, you could only explain it with like other objects, or you know what I mean. So it's hard to like bring it to that follow through. Like you can't explain it with that logical thinking, right?
And it was actually Brad what that told me, like, why do you need to explain it? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, why do I need to explain it? Just know it. And that talks about the belief. Just know it. And you don't have to prove it to anybody. You don't have to tell it to anybody. Just like I was getting that whole thing around Bree's crystal, her tiny, tiny crystal ball, right? And I seriously got a huge kind of hint that that was a fairy's crystal ball. Now, if I said that to somebody else, like my husband, he would think I was absolutely cuckoo.
Yeah, some people are not, open to those kind of, possibilities, right? So, I mean, it's nice to find our soul tribe, and I mean, I'm so grateful for you and being able to chat with you and everyone else we've been able to talk to and connect with. It's just you guys have all been fabulous, and we love you guys. So, thank you for being
Anytime.
part of this. Like, come and join us if you guys ever want to still come. I know Marcia still is doing like her and her amazing group are doing tarot chats, and we're doing meditations. I think we have one coming up in January as well, right?
Mhm. January 3rd.
Yeah. So
We are still working with, hang on one sec. We're still working with the energies of the three eye atlas. There's been kind of a pause, right? So closest to Earth was on the 19th. Closest to Jupiter is going to be March in the spring solstice, aligned with the, you can't make this stuff up. So now what we're doing with the January 3rd meditation is we're going up in pairs up the chakra system. I'm also going to create more of like an in-depth information kind of video about each chakra to help people like kind of clear the road, clear the path up to the opening of the Padma.
yeah,
So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I've had so much fun chatting with you.
I love
We
you.
wanted to, I love you. We wanted to thank you guys for joining us on a morning tarot chat and looking into the matrix codes. That was a blast. And we're excited to come back for another reading in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys do want to join, like it helps so much when you have people that see the world the same way that you do. Send Bree or myself a message, and we will absolutely give you the Telegram link. We've got a whole bunch of new people joining, and it's so nice to meet new souls. And I don't know, it just seems that people get guided, and they seem to. It seems like it's not that they just fit. It's like your soul knows each other. It's the
Yeah.
weirdest thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's so cool. I love that.
yeah.
Yay, I love it. Well, we love you guys, and we will see you in another time. So, we're wishing you all a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. Goodbye for now, lovely souls.